Alright, let's go ahead and cut the bullshit, people. You're not free. You're managed. You're licensed. And you're tracked. And every time you think you've made a move toward independence, the system's already built a goddamn snare around your next step. You know, you're playing checkers in a minefield built for chess players. And you think the threat's a prison cell? Nah. The fucking threat is the leash they put around you after you get out. When they pretend you're free. While they wrap your fucking ankle monitors on you and the microphones in your phones. This isn't justice. It's logistics. And you're a commodity. A number on a fucking state ledger feeding a breast with quotas and grants. And let me go ahead and break this down for you people. You know, they don't need everybody in prison anymore. That's too fucking old school. You know, that's analog tyranny. And now they just need you in the system. You know, once you're in, once you got that record, that charge, that parole, that fucking bench warrant, it never lets you go. And they weaponize your past, erase your future, and make you dependent on a system that wants you broken, scared, and fucking stupid. And guess who ends up in this trap the most? Our vets. Our fucking patriots. The fucking working poor. And the exact people who might fight back if they weren't locked in a daily battle just to keep their fucking heads above water. And you think it's a coincidence? Nah, you think it's just bad fucking luck that guys coming back from the military end up fucking homeless, addicted, or locked up? Nah, that's not misfortune. That's by design. They train you for war, give you a fucking gun, fill your head with duty and purpose, then dump you back into a society that calls you a threat and sets you up to fail. And the cops don't see a veteran with PTSD. They see a domestic extremist. And the courts don't see a patriot. They see a flight risk. And the feds don't fucking see a guy who loves his country. They see a guy who might shoot back. And the moment you say, I don't trust this government, they start checking your search history, knocking on your fucking door with mental health professions and red flag orders. We know the drill. And here's the cycle. Get a ticket, miss a payment, now there's a warrant. And you get stopped for a bullshit taillight. Now you're in cuffs. Can't pay the bond, you're fucking sitting in jail, you end up losing your fucking job, lose your house, then you get out. Now you got fines, fees, fucking probation. You miss a meeting and now you're back in a cage. You argue with a fucking cop, resisting arrest. And every single misstep is built into the fucking system like a hidden landmine. The judges and DAs know it. And the cops know it as well. You know, the probation officers know it. But it is a business. Private prisons, surveillance contracts, municipal court fees, they all make fucking money off your pain, your paperwork, and your failure. And here's the real fucking kicker, people. They let violent cartel members, rapists, and gangbangers slide through on fucking plea deals. But if you're a white guy with a fucking Gadsden flag sticker, with a fucking gun collection, they throw the book at you. You're the threat. You're the fucking target. Not because you did something wrong, but because you might stand up and fucking fight. Before we continue into the main op, let's go ahead and get into this week's Intel briefing. You know, information is the weapon of the century. If you don't own the narrative, you're already defeated, people. Up first, we have a cartel cyber espionage of FBI informants. A June 2025 audit of the U.S. Justice Department confirms that a Sinaloa cartel-linked hacker infiltrated Mexico City surveillance systems and phone networks in 2018. He then tracked an FBI-assisted legal attach at the U.S. Embassy, ended up harvesting call logs, general location data, and live video feeds. The cartel leadership then used this intel to identify, intimidate, and in some cases execute confidential informants within Mexico and California and Arizona. Right here we have fentanyl sanctions hit cartel-linked banks. On June 25th, it says the U.S. Treasury FinCEN sanctioned 3 Mexican financial institutions, CI Banco, Intercam, and Vector Casa de Bolsa, under the new Fend Off Fentanyl Act. They're accused of laundering millions of cartels, including Sinaloa, CJNG, and the Gulf, and facilitating precursor chemical shipments from China. Vector reportedly laundered over $17 million in 1 year and processed bribes tied to former Mexican security chief Garcia Luna. Mexico's banking regulator has since taken temporary control of the banks, while the Mexican government is deeming evidence to support the U.S. allegations. Up here we have threats cartel as terrorist networks. It says back in February 2025, of course, the president labeled that both the U.S. and Canada officially designated 6 Mexican cartels, including Sinaloa, CJNG, as foreign terrorist organizations. And this grants sweeping legal authority, people, asset freezes, and warrants, and expanded across the border of operations. However, the poor enforcement and cartel influence in politics and law enforcement have limited the impact despite the new designation. That's how it is, especially here in Tucson, man. The cartel run the cops. They're everywhere. Says here, high-profile individual charges. In May 2025, U.S. authorities indicted key Beltran Levea organization leaders, part of the Sinaloa umbrella, on narco-terrorism charges tied to massive fentanyl and heroin operations. This was part of Operation Take Back America, acting on the new foreign terrorist organization status. Says here we have political corruption and financial collusion. Diplomatic cables leaked in June 2025 shows U.S. requests for Mexico to prosecute cartel-connected officials, and they were met with resistance. And Mexican officials demanded more proof. Meanwhile, Garcia Luna, once Mexico's top security official, was ordered to pay $2.4 billion for accepting Sinaloa bribes. And hear what that means for you people. Cartels conduct targeted cyber espionage, tracking and eliminating informants and targets. And the financial networks tied to cartels are now being sanctioned, but they'll adapt. They'll get those via offshore cash flows. And cartels are formally recognized as terrorist entities. And yet enforcement remains just a piecemeal. And the high-level arrests signal a new strategy, but that cartel power is woven into politics, finance, and your law. Once again, that has been your Intel briefing. Let's go ahead and get back into the main op. Now, you ever hear the phrase institutional momentum? That's the bureaucratic freight train behind the justice system. And once it fucking hits you, people, it doesn't stop. Once you've been booked, processed, ID'd, and databased, you're in the fucking game forever. You'll never work a normal job again without background checks. You'll never own a gun without a mountain of fucking paperwork to sign. And you'll never vote in peace without a dozen laws ready to label you a felon. And here's what nobody talks about. The surveillance doesn't end when your sentence does. You're on a digital fucking parole forever. Your phone, tapped, your vehicle tagged, your email scanned. AI bots sort your social posts. You know, they watch your Amazon purchases. They fucking cross-reference your GPS pings with known descendant activity. And this isn't sci-fi, people. It's policy. And it's active right fucking now while you're listening to this. And they figured out how to turn the country into a prison without walls. And no need for guards when everybody's fucking doing what they have to do to be fucking distorted. You know, no need for fences when you can't afford to fucking move, right? There's no need for chains when your debt and digital ID keep you on a fucking leash. Like I said, they turn probation into lifestyle management. You know, you don't become convicted of anything anymore to be treated like a fucking suspect. You don't need to be. You know, just say the wrong thing, post the wrong meme, or fucking donate to the wrong cause. And how do they keep you quiet? They fucking drug you, they fucking shame you, and distract you. You go to the VA psych appointment, boom, you're diagnosed. Now you're disarmed. And you talk about politics and group therapy, red flag, motherfucker. And you get pissed about the news, labeled aggressive, and they don't fix the trauma. They use it as a fucking excuse to erase your rights. So look around your town. How many guys do you know on house arrest or supervised release? You know, fighting that endless court fees. You know, all of it is designed to break you down slowly. No clean breaks, you know, no end date. Just a slow grind into submission. And they want you dependent, people, and fucking obedient. And if you ever raise your head up, bam! Another technical violation, another search, another anonymous tip. And I've said it before. Freedom isn't about doing what you want. It's about being untouchable. And right now, you're touchable as hell. Your credit score, your medical records, your browsing history, they've made it all admissible evidence in the court of modern control. And you don't need to commit a crime, people. You just need to annoy the wrong person. And before we continue, we're going to go ahead and get into the tactical breakdown. And this one's for the real ones, and those who understand that in a collapsing system, it won't be a fair fight. You won't get one-on-one duels, no honor code, no fucking squares to meet on. What you're going to get is multiple opponents, fast chaos, and zero fucking warning. And if you're not trained for it, you're fucking done, people. So let's be clear on this. You know, engaging multiple threats is not some movie fantasy Matrix bullshit. It's fucking ugly, it's explosive, and it's a test of your mind, your conditioning, and your aggression. And we're going to go ahead and break this down into 3 pillars for you guys to train your mind. And you have to have this, your mindset and awareness, as well as your movement and positioning. And you have to have the tools and tactical choices. And the first is the mindset, man. The kill the fucking freeze. When you're facing multiple attackers, people, the first thing that breaks weak men is hesitation. Your brain overloads, you fucking panic, you hesitate, and in that gap, you fucking die. And you have to train your brain to respond, not to react. You don't wait. You decide. I will move. I will break their rhythm. I will control this. And here's a mindset of truth, people. When you're outnumbered, the worst thing you can fucking do is try to survive. You must be the problem, the one causing the damage, creating the chaos, enforcing hesitation in them. Your mindset is to weaponize pressure. You become the storm that collapses their motherfucking plan. And this is where the movement and positioning comes in. Never get stuck in the fucking middle. Listen carefully, people. If you let yourself get surrounded, it's fucking over. You must always fight to control positioning. And that means lining up opponents, using walls, parked cars, furniture, trees, anything to funnel or limit their angles. You want two attackers in front of you, not behind you or one ahead of you. Keep moving because static targets get torn up. You want to be a moving nightmare, shifting angles, denying clean approaches. Strike with displacement. Hit them fucking hard and fast. Every fucking strike, you should shift your position. Engage, strike, shift. Like a fucking typewriter hitting the return key. You gotta reset your path constantly. And use the first attacker as a shield. When one steps in, wreck him and put his body between you and the others. Collapse him into his crew. Create a human obstacle. And this ain't sport fighting. This is fucking war. And war is geometry. Use it, people. And this means you have to have the tools and tactics. Fight fucking dirty and fight smart. So let's go ahead and talk tools. When facing more than one attacker, your hands are only part of your arsenal. You know, your primary weapon should be a blade, a short blade, you know, a push dagger, easy to conceal, devastating up close. Aim for arteries, thighs, ribs, neck. Fast, you gotta make them fucking deep cuts, people. Create fear and bleed out. And impact weapons, man. You have to have like a tactical pin, you know, expanded batons. We said this before. You know, perfect for striking joints in your knees. You have to cripple the lead attacker to fucking slow the rest. Flashlights, strobes, you know, high aluminum strobe lights in the dark. You know, they can definitely disrupt your visual coordination and definitely blind them, confuse them. And you can use it to strike with. Definitely consider getting OC spray. You know, that's a cone of pain. You know, buy the military grade or don't bother. You have to use it to create a path out. Not to stand there like a fool, like some libtard yelling and screaming and then just spraying the shit. You have to lead with violence. The first strike must be decisive. You know, this isn't sparring. You explode into the weakest one. Take him out and shift. Don't throw fancy combos. You want elbows, knees, headbutts, destructive efficiency. You know, disarm or disable people. You know, if one is armed and others aren't, take his fucking weapon and use it. Even a simple stick becomes the master of the battlefield. You know, use the environment. You know, walls, bottles, chairs, gravel, dirt, anything becomes a fucking tool. Use your brain. That's the real tool. You shove somebody through a fucking window, that's control. Smash a bottle and use the jagged edge, that's fucking fear right there. You know, you have to spar with multiple attackers. You know, if your gym isn't putting you through 2-on-1 drills, knife defenses, and chaos, and pressure tests, you're fucking wasting time. You know, here's how you should be training. You know, 2 attackers, live sparring. Start with 30-second burst, use gloves, but don't go light. You know, focus on movement, not your fucking flashy look in front of everybody. You know, do your obstacle drills, train in cluttered environments. Make your garage your dojo. Move around couches, trash bins, fences. You know, drill your everyday carry as well. You have to do into your training. Pull your fucking blade mid-clinch, spray and shift. Practice the fucking draws under pressure, people. And the reality is you're not fighting in a fucking cage. You're fighting at a gas station, a parking lot, an alley, a stairwell, diners. You know, train like it. And you don't wait to get jumped. You don't see what they're gonna do. If someone gets too close and you feel that fucking primal signal, it's about to go down. You better fucking act first, you better act fast, and without apology. You don't need to win against 3 people. You need to hurt the first one badly enough that the others fucking hesitate or flee. That's how you survive. Break 1, scatter 2. That's how real fighters think. And that's how warriors train. So, ask yourself, you know, if you got surrounded tonight, would you stand up or get stomped the fuck out? You know, would you be the first to answer? Or questions? You know, train for it, people. Live for it and be the last man standing. And once again, this has been the Tactical Breakdown. And we're going to go ahead and continue back into our main op. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the prison economy. Because it's not just about control, it's about the cash. Did you know some countries have quotas for how many bodies they send to state lockup? Did you know judges get judicial training from private prison lobbyists? And that parole department gets bonuses for successful compliance metrics. Meaning how many people stay on paper or paper fees and don't cause problems. You think you're a fucking citizen, people? No. You're a motherfucking revenue stream. You think that ankle monitor is about safety? It's a subscription. And you pay for your own surveillance now. You know that? Monthly fees, technical support, late penalties. You're paying them to watch you. And if you miss a payment, guess what? Back to fucking jail with you. And that's slavery with extra steps. So rid yourself of that. Get clean and get the fuck away from there. And look, if you think this is just fucking affecting the criminals, you're not paying attention, people. Traffic violations, noise complaints, zoning infractions, they've all become criminal pipelines. Get enough points on your license, suspended, drive to work anyway, that's fucking jail time. Get hit with city code fines, ignore them and get a warrant. You know, everything is criminalized, but selectively enforced. And that's a fucking scam. They don't need to lock up everyone. Just enough people to keep the rest scared. Because just enough to fill their quota. Just enough to make an example. And let me tell you something. You're on that list, people. And if you're listening to this, if you believe in firearms, family, and tradition, and are the exact demographic the system wants to neutralize, and they don't want you organized. They don't want you self-sufficient, and they don't want you teaching others. So they manufacture traps. Undercover cops on social media, sting posing as militias, and Fed-run honeypots offering illegal gear. It's all bait, people. And once you're in, you're never going to get the fuck out.
Welcome to this week's Signal Boost.
And before we continue, let's go ahead and get into our Signal Boost. The voices of the new frontier. That's right. To all those standing guard on the digital frontier, this one's for you. While the mainstream media peddles weakness and distraction, you are teaching survival. You're lighting the fires of independence. From weapons, hand-to-hand combat, handling the wilderness skills, and to be tactical. And your content sharpens the minds of patriots who refuse to be slaves. This isn't entertainment, this is a digital armory. Every one of these channels trains the next generation of freedom-minded warriors. So to every viewer out there, every listener, if you're serious about your independence, if you're tired of being soft, sick of fucking waiting for permission, subscribe to every one of these channels showing up on the screen now. They're building skill, mindset, and courage. One video at a motherfucking time. So you have to support the ones building the real America back. An armed, capable, and self-reliant people. This is the Iron Voice Society, and these are the sentinels of the modern frontier. Never kneel, never retreat, and never rely on someone else to save you. Make sure to subscribe, people, train, and rise. Once again, this is our weak signal boost. Let's go ahead and get back into the main op. So, what do? You get smart. You go gray. You go clean. You stay sharp and you build your fucking networks, not fan clubs. You teach without broadcasting. You know, you train without boasting and you prepare without confessing. Because Uncle Panzer's got you covered on the broadcasting. You document everything, okay? You learn the laws. You don't hand them ammunition. You don't talk to them. They're all fucking against you. You have to go above and beyond the top of the food chain to get these corrupt cops off of our streets. And you have to film everything. And you encrypt your devices. You talk in person. And you keep your circles tight. And you live in a way that's bulletproof from legal attack. And you want to fight the system. Don't give them easy targets. Don't drink and drive. Don't be a fucking retard. Don't flash your gear online. Don't get into stupid fights. You know, don't chimp out. You know, you're not a street thug. You're a strategic asset in a goddamn silent war. And you have to protect others. When you see a brother getting roped in, warn his ass. You know, especially with these organizations out there. They're all fake as shit. And when you see a setup, you got to blow it up. You know, not physically, but with alarming people. And when you get out of a cage, tell the story. Because they want us silent. They want us ashamed. And they want us isolated. But we're not alone and we're not done. You know, the system thrives on ignorance. And that's why this show exists. That's why you're here. Because somewhere deep down, you fucking know you've been lied to. Handled, branded, tracked, and fucking used. And the only way out is through discipline, people. Education and relentless resistance. Don't be a victim and never be a statistic. Don't be a fucking repeat offender. Learn from your mistakes, people like me. And don't be a fucking cautionary tale. Be the guy that scares the living shit out of them because you don't fucking break. You don't fold and you don't play their fucking games. You rewrite the rules. This is Panzer Unleashed, motherfuckers. And the war ain't coming. It's already fucking here. The prison is all around us. But the lock doesn't mean shit if you got the motherfucking key. Panzer out.